Welcome to Metadata, the musical, The Dilemma at Spivak Library. And thank you for joining us today. This is our all original musical about the balance of curation and preservation, important topics for librarians. Sorry. I swear I didn't touch anything. In scholarly communications in the ecosystem. The Spivak Library, named after a bee expert, Marla Spivak. Sorry, are you driving it? Yeah. Okay, sorry. The screen changed in front of me. Is a fictional academic library invented originally for another musical about metadata given at SSP earlier this year. Over the next 30 minutes or so, we will venture into the Woodland academic community that surrounds the library. The cast of Woodland creatures have discovered that their water source has been unexpectedly disrupted. What does this ecosystem imbalance have to do with metadata? You will soon find out. Before we begin, however, I have a couple of notes. First, with all due respect to the librarians in the crowd, we are taking some liberties with typical librarian interactions for comedic purposes. Yeah, we are strongly encouraging audience participation, and in fact, we have drafted four members of the audience into the performance, and we are intending to be a lively discussion. Third, be thinking about how this can be an interactive activity, something like a musical, that can transform your training and education sessions to increase engagement while also having more fun in the process, delivering information to your patrons, students, faculty, etc. All right, so I know you all want to see how the woodland creatures solve this problem and balance their university ecosystem. So without further ado, I welcome you to our woodland tale.
Finally, it is complete. The tenure committee at the School of Architecture is gonna love it. It's big, it's flashy, and most importantly to them, done in a place with a high WIF, Woodland impact factor, of course. I'm sure to get promoted now. I'm too sexy for my tenure. Too sexy for my tenure.
Wow. I'm not sure my tree can hold anymore. Where am I going to get more storage? I have to make sure that the acorns are safe and that those who need access can get access. But how to get each researcher to precisely what they need? Well, I guess I'll just have to figure it out. I'll just put this one last load in. Ooh, impressive. We've come a long way since freshman year.
We sure have.
I thought you told me that you agreed with the boss, Beatrice, to keep it to more of a, one story or lower profile model, more like a Frank Lloyd Wright setup. I thought she didn't like this McMansion style.
Well, yeah, but just don't tell her. The only thing that the tenure committee cares about is the WIF. And besides, she'll come to love it. It just looks tall now. Just wait till all the water fills in. Hey, how's the acorn database coming along?
Splendidly. Although, I'm going to need to figure out my storage situation. What was that?
I have no clue.
My tree! My beautiful tree!
Never mind your tree, you've crushed my magnum opus. You must have put too many acorns in it.
You shouldn't have cut down so many of the surrounding trees. You must have weakened the root structure. Nuts. What am I gonna do now?
What am I supposed to do now? It still seems to be holding the water back, but it looks atrocious.
Professor B was my roommate. He was a good friend of mine. I never understood a single dam he built, but his sense of humor sure was fine. And he always had some mighty fine wine. Then I heard a cracking bough. All my work in ruin now. Acorns are lost in the deep blue sea. Woe to my poor old tree. And if I were the king of the squirrels, tell you what I'd do. I'd gather all my acorns and the other nuts and hand them all out to you. Sing it. Joy to the world, animals and squirrels. Joy to the fishes in the deep blue sea. Acorns to you and me. Joy to the world, animals and squirrels. Joy to the fishes in the deep blue sea. Acorns to you and me.
A lot of juggling here.
Good morning, Owl. Or should I say good night?
Very funny. Morning for me. You know I just can't stay up late.
You're the only day owl I know.
I'm probably the only owl you know.
Well, there's that.
What's new in e-resources?
Well, it's hard to get the students to come into the library. It just Dewey decimates me. Hey, Otter. Why so bothered?
I'm not sure. Everything was fine yesterday, but today circulation is all wonky. I've got no water where I had water yesterday, so I cannot disseminate the inter-woodland loan content out to where it's needed. And meanwhile, my departmental offices seem to be flooding. How is that even possible?
Dun dun dun. Dun dun dun.
And you may find yourself at the circulation department. Or you may find yourself in another part of the library. And you may find yourself behind the reference desk. And you may find yourself in a beautiful space. And then a duck swims by. And you may ask yourself, well, what's going on here? Letting the day go by, then the water hold me down. Letting the day go by, water flowing underground. But where I need it, then the water, it was gone once in my lifetime. Water flowing underground.
It's a lot to juggle.
And you may ask yourself, how do I work this? And you may ask yourself, why is the water out of sorts? And you may tell yourself, this is not my beautiful space. And you may tell yourself, this is not my beautiful duck. Letting the days go by, can't let water keep me down. Let the days go by, water flowing underground. But where I need it, then the water, it was gone once in my lifetime. Water flowing underground. Same as it ever was, same as it ever was. I want it back like it was before. Same as it ever was, same as it ever was.
Excuse me.
This is our new intern, Gull.
Nice to meet you as
Good
well.
morning, Sea Owl. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well, but it's just Gull, actually.
Oh, my apologies.
No worries. Most inland woodlanders make this common mistake. It's a layman's term for seabird, but not one that biologists or ornithologists use.
So are you studying to be a biologist or an ornithologist?
No, I come from a long line of librarians. I hate to bother you, but there's a question from the reference desk.
Excuse me, can you direct me to the nearest water fountain?
How is that even a question? Didn't you take my intro to water literacy class to show you how to find water? My whole department has turned into a water fountain / swimming pool. Not to mention, we're in the middle of the woods.
Is it filtered, the water in your department?
Filtered? Did I not see you last night eating from the dumpster?
Everyone needs fast food once in a while.
I'll help track down some water.
Now back to Otter's water problem. Owl, given that you have wings and all, could you fly up and take a look around?
Happy to do so. I can't believe I've been working in this Woodland library for 25 years. It's such a second home for me. I need to find out what's suddenly throwing the ecosystem out of balance. I know these woods clearly. I'm old and I'm wise. I see seasons change and it's magic to my eyes. I take care of texts and files. I prepare the licenses and trials. Oh yeah, I can fly for miles and miles and miles. It's a lot of miles. Oh yeah. I'm so honored by their trust in me to keep trouble at bay. Something's happening, but I can't quite see what factors come into play. There could be debris, or maybe a tree, but there's no more denial, and still all the while, I'll take care of texts and files. I'll still prepare the licenses and trials, and I will fly for miles and miles and miles. Oh yeah. Okay, I'm back. Well, something's definitely happening way upstream.
What?
Too many pages. Couldn't quite see exactly. You know my contact lenses are always getting all messed up.
Why didn't you simply fly up and see what it was?
I have to run a meeting in a little bit. The OWL meeting, Owl Workers in Libraries. I think I could fly up later today and check it out for you.
Later today? Who knows what will even remain of my department by then? Not to mention the researchers who can't get their content. You know how they can get.
Oh, yes, and so many people just tree mail me when something goes wrong. They can't get no content access. And this means that I get so stressed. And I try, and I try, and I try, and I try. Still they can't get no. They can't get no. When I'm driving in my car, when I'm listening to the radio, they're messaging me more and more about some vital information. I just got interrupted vacation. I can't get no. No, no, no. Hey, hey, hey. That's what they say. I'm about to drink my tea, and a professor comes along and tells me how she is unhappy. She can't get her articles anymore because the passwords don't agree. I can't get no. No, no, no. Hey, hey, hey. That's what I say. Why don't we just head up there ourselves? Can we make it into a road trip called a Professional Development Day?
That sounds like a plan. We have to try and fix it, whatever this thing is.
Okay, I'll catch up with you after my whom call.
Act 2, on the road again.
Isn't that the new visiting faculty member?
Yes, from the United Kingdom, I believe. Hey, Dr. Hedgehog, how you doing?
Oh, hello. I'm busy. Oh. Shoot. I don't need a microphone.
It's an amateur production.
Okay. Yes, hello. I'm the hedgehog. Oh, I'm busy. Adjusting to the time change. Getting up to speed on how you all do things here. Doing lots of talks about inter-hedge loan, hedge resolver best practices, and all around general hedge access.
You folks across the pond have made so much progress on hedge access. We're just getting started here.
Well, for a start, here in the US, you don't have all the same hedges. Things are simpler with a centralized hedge system, I think. What brings you to this neck of the woods?
Something is happening upstream. We've got too much water where it shouldn't be and not enough in other places. Nothing odd at all happening here?
Not that I've really noticed specifically, but I'm heading down with the hedges. Now that you mention it, though, the stream is very low. Such a feeling's coming over me. We'll lose access to the very things we need. If the content runs dry, we'll fail those who rely. We depend oh so much on one stream. Everything we want the world to be is in danger without a guarantee. Yes, disaster is near, it could all disappear, throwing wrenches in the well-oiled machine.
We're on the top of the problem looking for information, and the only explanation we can find is to cover this ground. Take a good look around. Your help puts us on the top of the hedge.
There is only one wish on my mind. When this day is through, I hope that we will find that tomorrow will be a triumph for you and me. All I need will be fine if we succeed.
We're on the top of the problem looking for information, and the only explanation we can find is to cover this ground. Take a good look around. Your help puts us on the top of the hedge.
Pardon me.
You again? How did you find us?
We girls keep a wide eye on everything. We find the best lunch spots that way. Another question for you.
Does this library have any information about fish ladders? Very amateur. Does this library have any information about fish ladders?
Fish ladders?
Not something we need in the hedges, I'm afraid.
I'm trying to research different types of fish ladders for my biology class, but I just can't find anything. Lots of stuff on fish, lots of stuff on ladders. I'm not getting anywhere. It just stinks. It stinks, I tell you.
Stinks, you say? Have you tried the Discovery Service?
The Discovery Service?
Yes, everything we have access to is indexed in a knowledge base. The Discovery Service gives you the ability to find what you need. Have you picked the strongest keywords? Set your target databases, sorted from old to new, filtered to find a few. I have run, I have crawled, I have scaled huge waterfalls, only to plead with you. But you still haven't found what you're looking for. But you still haven't found what you're looking for. I have written 3 live guides, made up countless PowerPoint slides. Still you inquire, I may retire. I have spoken with so many classes, emailed all you lads and lasses. It was late in the night, but try as I might, but you still haven't found what you're looking for. But you still haven't found what you're looking for.
I'll take Skunk to check out the Discovery Service.
Hey, look, it's a magpie. She always has the feather on the pulse of these woods. Hey, magpie, what's the latest and greatest?
Well, Not that I was trying to stick my beak in where it does belong, but I was out looking for shiny things and
Thank you.
I bet you wonder how I knew about your quest to travel through with a big proud that you can't ignore. You know I took to the sky, I wanna help you more. It took me by surprise, I must say, when I found out earlier today. Don't you know?
Heard it
Through the grapevine, having many hills to climb. Ooh, I heard it through the grapevine.
That the library was in a bind.
Honey, honey, yeah.
We heard it through the grapevine that she set out on a quest just maybe.
I set out to use my eagle eye, and these dreams, they seem to have it dry. Losing those who would you hurt your work, I see, and you mean so much to me. I saw a blockage myself that I need to tell about. Instead, I heard it through the grapevine.
Heard it through the grapevine that you set out on a quest just maybe.
Ooh, shine.
I wonder.
Tell.
Well, maybe it's nothing, but then.
Oh, you hedgehogs are overly polite. You're not in the United Kingdom anymore. Tell us.
Maybe you didn't know this, but a woodland species went extinct in Britain in the 16th century. They only began to move back into the wild in 2002. Through my work outside of the hedge, I've heard of the phenomena you're describing.
What species?
Eurasian beavers. I think you have their North American cousins here.
Duh, why didn't I think about that?
Yes, isn't your brother-in-law beaver?
Well, technically he's a muskrat, but it's a common mistake, though. But back to the surface of the problem. Do we think all this trouble could be the work of a beaver?
Beaver, you say? I don't even want to hear that name again. All of my work is in shambles. Whatever will I do?
Slow down, dude. We can barely understand you.
My tree! All of my beautiful acorns. I'm sure that Professor B had something to do with it. Old friend or no, I'll not forgive him. Probably damaged the root systems of my tree when he was constructing that monstrosity.
Where is your tree exactly?
Well, on the ground now, or nearly, upstream near the School of Architecture next to the Data Lake.
I'm so sorry to be late. I got tied up making hoodle polls for meetings. Maddening. Hi, hedgehog, squirrel. I don't think I've ever seen you this upset.
My tree fell. Sabotage, I tell you. Acorns everywhere, thousands of them. I'll never get them back in order. So many of them are nearly identical. How can I distinguish them from one another?
You need identifiers.
Sorry. Too many moving pieces. Where did you come from? Where does everyone keep coming from all of a sudden?
I was just doing my regular rounds and my metadata smell check.
Smell check? For metadata?
My uncle Boris was a famous truffle hunting pig in France. You would have liked him. He was such a fun guy. It's where I got the idea of checking metadata through smell. Anyway, after years of practice, I found that I can sniff out the need for identifiers anywhere, and maybe I was eavesdropping. Metadata can be a lonely business sometimes. Nobody knows the truffles I've seen.
Da, 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 da.
Dun, da, 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 da.
Metadata can be a lonely thing, but it makes my bore heart ring. A solution you require, well, you need an identifier. Your situation sounds like it is so dire. Tree went down, 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 and the challenges went higher. So it yearns, yearns, yearns. Identifiers. Identifiers. Your tree fell down, your plan went haywire. Acorns down, 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 and a plan you require. So you need identifiers, identifiers.
So you think you can help me? There are thousands, maybe millions of acorns.
Wait, you put millions of acorns in your tree? Millions? No wonder it fell down.
No, I'm sure it was that darn dam of Professor B's.
Well, one thing for sure, we need to get to the bottom of this or the whole library will continue to suffer. Squirrel, take us upstream to visit this architectural marvel.
Act 3, a few hours later.
How could this happen? I'll never get tenure now. I'll never be able to move on to my passion projects. This tree won't do it all. Can't get around it. Can't take it apart safely. Can't disguise it. And not to mention that it's Squirrel's life that's fallen. I know how much it means to him. There you are. Ready?
Yep.
Sure. The more the merrier. Trees and trees are everywhere. I cut them down. I felled my share. Touch Squirrel's tree, I would not dare. I'd want that tree to stay. But now it only blocks the flow. Spilled leaves and nuts on everyone. So many things I would have done, but trees got in my way. I've looked at trees from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow, with such confusion I recall, I really don't know trees at all. I know how upset Squirrel feels. Construction always lacked appeal. Perhaps disaster truth reveals. I've looked at life that way. But soon another tree will grow through sun and rain and wind and snow to shade the vital land below. And I will say, hooray! I've looked at trees from both sides now, from give and take, and still somehow, with such confusion I recall, I really don't know trees at all. I made Squirrel's tree fall down, spilled leaves and nuts on everyone. Now I hope that what we've built will help to ease my guilt. When they see what we have done, it'll be good for everyone. We'll be friends and have such fun in living every day. I've looked at trees from both sides now, from give and take, And still somehow, with such confusion, I recall, I really don't know trees at all.
Hi. Beautiful song.
Wow. Thanks, Manatee. I'm really surprised to find you all the way up here.
Well, it
Fresh
shouldn't surprise you to learn that the size of your pond lake is a bit out of control. I was able to swim over here from the Research Integrity Office.
Really? Oh, wow. Sorry about that.
Yeah, well, normally I wouldn't complain. I was able to visit my sister on the way up here for some fancy sandwiches and yummy tea.
Oh, yeah? Some of that new bubble tea that all the students rave about?
Nah, manna tea, of course, her own blend. But as I was saying, I wouldn't typically grouse about this, but the overflow is sending way too much information downstream, and it is impossible for students to discern what the value of them or even what is factual. Yeah, I'm sitting in the iSchool, chilling in my pod pool, got the 12 o'clock news blues. I've given up hope of explaining Snopes, too many emails to go through. Is it any wonder I'm so frenzied? Is it any wonder I'm such a mess? With research abuse, I got too much to do, and with no time to do it, well, I find it amusing. I've got places to go and no time to get there. Meanwhile, I'm only one individual. Is there any hope that facts will prevail? Is it any wonder I've got too much info on hand? 'Cause I'm only one harried manatee.
We've got misinformation on hand, and it's hard to believe such a calamity. I've got too much info on hand, and it's chipping away at me. Misinformation on hand.
Now I don't know what to do.
Misinformation on hand.
Now I don't know what to do.
Professor B, look who I came across in the forest. The top leadership team from the Spivak library. They think they can help us fix things.
Fix this? I can't see how. The architecture school tenure committee only cares about the woodland impact factor. I don't see how they can overlook at this. But first, I need to say that I'm really sorry, Squirrel. I don't know what happened. I'd never do anything to threaten your tree. You need to know that. We go back so far together.
Don't worry, I understand. And I may have drastically overloaded the tree myself. I'm sorry that it fell on your construction.
Well, and maybe I'm just not cut out to be an architect.
Let's not waste time wallowing. We've got flooding in my department.
And no way to disperse information from my department.
Well, let's take a moment here. Beaver, you said that your department only cares about big and flashy? Well, according to my quick online research, beaver dams can help the environment and other creatures in a variety of ways. They can reduce the flood risk immediately downstream, helping otter. They can improve the stream flow in other areas, helping fox get her content distributed. They can improve water quality overall, helping manatee with her misinformation initiative. And they generally expand the habitats for wildlife and fish, helping the entire research community.
Well, will we need to take the whole thing down? What about Squirrel's tree? It sticks out like a sore paw. Sorry, Squirrel.
Oh, I don't think we need to take it down. We just need to do some modifications. And maybe we could make the tree into a feature rather than a bug. I have some ideas.
And we may know someone who can help.
Well, it can't happen too soon for me. My BlackBerry has been blowing up for hours.
But where are we going to find someone who can plan and undertake these modifications?
Yeah, we know someone who
like
can help.
Professor B said, we know somebody.
Yeah. Epilogue, a few weeks later. All animals except manatee and gull are on the stage with your eyes closed. Come on. Okay, is everyone here? Is everyone here?
Yes, I can't believe we had to make our way upstream without looking at your darn construction.
He always had a flair for the dramatic.
Okay, everyone, are you ready? Ta-da!
Ooh.
Look, the stream comes through just in the right places in just the right amount. There are even some recreational options for the students. And Squirrel, your tree is now a state-of-the-art performance space.
Ooh, even better than I thought.
Better than you thought? Better than you thought? Oh, I don't know what that is either. But better than you thought? Have you been sneaking peeks?
I might have heard it through the grapevine. Ooh, shine.
It's fantastic.
Who worked this magic?
The third member of our college powerhouse trio at Clemson, Beatrice Beaver.
You like it? It incorporates all the latest designs in net zero energy, which means the total amount of energy it uses yearly is equal or less than the amount of energy created on-site by innovative technologies and renewable power generation. It utilizes solar panels, radiant cooling, and enhanced envelope insulation.
Simply incredible. How did you accomplish this transformation in so little time?
Well, she is a civil engineer. I'm sure you've seen her work.
The Hoodle Dam? All the owls rave about it.
With the world's largest and most sophisticated fish ladder.
You think it's impressive above ground. You should see the underwater modifications. It's so cool. They've shared them back to the charity I volunteer for. Maybe you've heard of it. Habitat for Huge Manatees. Anyway, I like this place so much, I moved my office here, and I'm working remotely now.
Which has enabled me to step back from the day-to-day running of this place to pursue my true passion.
What's that?
Haven't you heard? Beaver Pong.
What's Beaver Pong?
It's very much like ping pong, but we play it with our tails. I was college champion 2 years running, and I'm thrilled to be able to get back into it.
Oh, here he comes. Yeah.
We've got another question. They're looking for the new facilities? I wasn't aware we had new facilities.
How did the students find about this place so quickly?
Magpie. Oh, what I can say, I was just too excited.
I can't wait to swim the backstroke in the lazy river. I hear it flows all the way to Research Integrity Office. Ah, yes, the lazy river begins over yonder, just past the fish ladder. Ooh. Fish ladders, they're how I get my daily steps in.
Well, I can't wait to try out the new performance space.
Oh, what's the production? No, let me guess. Swan Lake?
No, the Nutcracker.
Okay, well, board helped me get an identifier so I could then apply a taxonomy. We also made sure that we have preserved the relevant materials for posterity. Mrs. B made us a suitable repository.
Yes, before I got my engineering degree, I dabbled in digital preservation, so I know how important it is to take that into account as early in the planning process as possible. I even applied the new NASIG model preservation policy to the plan. Woo!
But wait, hold on. Speaking of nuts, what about your acorn collection, Squirrel? What has become of it?
It's going great. I guess we can call this a win-win situation. This calls for a celebration, a preservation celebration.
And please join in. There's a program going on right here. It's preservation to last throughout the years. So bring your content, metadata too. We gotta preserve the research for you.
Come on.
Preservation time.
Come on.
Preserve it all to last a long time. Preservation.
We'll preserve it all to
last a long time. It's time to work together. It's up to you. Research treasure everyone around the world. Come on! Yahoo! Let's do preservation. Yahoo! Preservation time. Come on! It's for preservation. Preservation time. Come on! Stay up to date.
Come on now,
Preservation.
Hey. Fox, otter, and hedgehog. Woo. Squirrel and Mrs. B. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for coming to our musical. Now, wait, it gets exciting. Please stick around for our lively discussion.
Oh, well, thank you.
One moment. Can some of our hardy woodland creatures just bring 4 chairs up on the stage? They're down here. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for humoring us. So what we want to do next is just take a little bit of time to talk about other forms of scholarly communication that can be more interactive, potentially more fun, potentially more embarrassing, or all of the above. So we are going to start with Lauren, aka Squirrel, and then we'll hear from Jane and briefly from me.
All right, so you may have noticed that there was some generative AI used as part of this production. So when you don't have a set, generative AI becomes a good substitute. And I was tasked with finding most of the images. I mainly used Adobe Firefly for that, along with a service called Free Pick. There's a lot of services out there that you can try. Some of them, most of them I'll say, you get a certain number of images for free per day or week or month, and then after that they want you to start paying a subscription or something like that. If you have the Adobe Creative Cloud, then you get unlimited access to Adobe Firefly, which is kind of cool. And some of the things I got to do was actually combine multiple types of generative AI to produce some of these images. So for example, here, generative AI can't produce text. So, not the image software can't produce text. So I used Adobe Firefly for the images, and then I used ChatGPT to come up with a clever headline or something like that, and then I could put all those things together using a program like Photoshop, or if you want something simpler, there's Canva, and you can create something like that. Of course, there's limitations. One of the really odd things I found is I tried every single service I could get my hands on, and not a single one of them could create a beaver tail. So I'm not sure what that was about. If you're trying to create some sort of object or organism, and it's really important to have exact details correct, to be accurate, you're using the wrong tool for that. Generative AI at this moment in this version it's not going to work for that. And of course, you can't copyright any of that work you create with generative AI, so that's something important to remember. Also, I am the Data Visualization Services Librarian for UNC Chapel Hill, so I'd be remiss if I didn't talk a little bit about how interactive visualization can be used for education and training. This one here, I don't know if I can click on the link. Yeah, unfortunately. So this was, I created a story map. I helped students create a story map in a feminist geographies class. And what this allows you to do is sort of add a bunch of images and different media, videos, sound, and you can combine that with data and with interactive maps to create this really cool story. I really wish I could demonstrate it for you, but it doesn't look like it's possible. So what happened was that Karen Parker, she was the first Black woman undergraduate at UNC Chapel Hill, and she donated her journal. And so students used her journal to create the story map, and she actually visited with them in the class and actually spoke to them. So that was a really cool project. Also, I was a part of a project called On the Books, and this is where we looked at North Carolina Jim Crow laws. We got a question from a Carolina K through 12 teacher asking us if we could provide a comprehensive list of Jim Crow laws in North Carolina, which of course we could not because no such list existed. We had information from scholars such as Polly Murray that we could use to train an algorithm using machine learning techniques to find other Jim Crow laws in North Carolina, and we've provided that as a data set, and I visualized that data set using a tool called Tableau. So with this tool, you can click on different counties, you can click on different topics that these laws cover and narrow down this list of laws, and then go and actually look at the laws, look at the text of the laws, look at the image of the law in the law books. And so this is a way that interactive visualization was really helpful for education and training. And unfortunately, I am going to have to run. Thank you guys so much for listening to this presentation. Thank you so much.
So I just wanted to show a couple of the other things that we've done over the past few years. When SSP was virtual in, I think, still spring of 2020, we put together this Walking the Rocky Road from Policy to Compliance, a live adventure. And Tim Vines from DataSeer had a friend who did the caricatures for all of us. That's the three-headed troll of conflicting author instructions there, being attacked by Jessica Miles, the Elseverian Ranger. We had Natasha Simons and Ginny Barber, who joined us from Australia. So we were really global. At the bottom there is them when they got to the Castle of Compliance, how excited they were. And we had the audience vote on different things during the course of it. And just briefly, at SSP New Direction Seminar in fall 2022, we did the 5-minute OA University, which consisted of several really brief presentations that were designed to look like a course syllabus. And that was amazing to put together, and it allowed us to get a lot of speakers and a lot of intro elements. So here are just a few things from that. Meredith Wilson did Geology 201, Precious Metals and Gemstones, and Professor Mordiana Garcia, she did Rethinking Partnerships and Transformative Agreements, like the biology class. So if an organism is a library and another organism is a publisher, is it a symbiotic relationship, or is it not? Up at each section had an exam question there, so you can see the final exam question there on the biology. And at the top there is the mascot I created for Open Access University, Unlocky, which I still love, and people have said if you put him on a t-shirt, they would buy it. So, and I'm going to hand over to Jane to talk just about a few examples that she's done.
Hello, everyone. My name is Janaynne. I'm a postdoc at the High School of Information Science at the University of Illinois. And I conduct research on peer review and public engagement in science. And today I will be sharing 3 experiences that I have explained scholar communication to the public, mainly peer review. So the first experience that I have was in this festival in Brazil in 2018. The name of the festival was Beautiful Scientists and Off the Pub. And the idea of this festival was to invite women conduct research to share with the public what they have done and, in the field of science, conducting science. So the audience here was academics and non-academics. And how I did it. That time in Brazil, I was a PhD student, and my thesis was about public participation in the peer review process. So I chose one aspect of my thesis, the idea of patients in the peer review process in scholarly journals, and I decided to use this to deliver a presentation using ordinary words to write a script. I prepared a script before. And also to explain the peer review process, I create an analogy between popular magazines and scholarly journals because sometimes people don't have idea what is peer review when they are not from academia. And then I move on to making some jokes about, for example, when we are sick, we are not feeling well, we have a disease. Instead of go to a doctor or looking for safe information, we go to Google, like the Dr. Google, and with many posts that sometimes we cannot trust, and we end up with, I have cancer, and maybe we just have flu. And what I did was to explain how you can look for safe information, good information. Why not look for health science journals? And then I used this joke to explain the peer review process of two journals, the BMJ and Research Engagement and I forgot the name, sorry, to explain the peer review process for them and explain how they could access open access journals. The second experience that I have, I teach scholar communication in my university, and I teach for graduate students. And when we have classes about peer review, I create something called the peer review role playing. What I do, I invite my students to, each one of them stand up, and they come in the front of the class, and each one of them is a player of the peer review process. A reviewer, an editor, and we have the author, like in the first picture. And first, I spend a moment to explain to them what is the peer review process and what is the goal of the peer review process. And I explain to them what is the role of each one of these players, the reviewer, the editor, and the author. When I make sure that they understood, I play about to explain the peer review models types. I explain single blind, double blind, triple blind, the open peer review, but for today, I'm just showing how I explain single blind. So in the picture about single blind, you can see that the editor is the background of the picture, and the author is blinded by turning around his chair, and the reviewer is not blind. And the double blind, we can see the editor in the background, and reviewer and author, they are blinded. This is the idea of turning around the chairs. Why I do this? I realized that, for example, when I explain the peer review process to my students using slides, they blame the reviewers regarding all problems that we have in peer review. When I explain with this demonstration, they blame the editor. The problem is I'm not looking for someone to blame. What I'm trying to do with my students is encourage them to understand the role of each one of these players and how we can improve the peer review process by paying attention in our role, in how we can improve what we have done as authors, as reviewers, and editors to have a good peer review process. They love to do this. We also struggle to finish the class on time because they love to get involved with the contents like this. And the first experience is a project that I got involved last year, a project from Portugal. And the idea of these projects is to encourage scientists to exchange letters with kids to talk about science. I was surprised when I was choosing to by a kid to talk to her, because colleagues of mine that they conduct research on frogs, on dogs, or cats, they are choosing first. And I was like, what, this girl was so interested to talk to me, but she doesn't choose me, she chooses the project. And what I'm going to say about me, not the project, that I was the first person to write for her, the first letter. And in my first letter for this girl, I sent two pictures of mine, one picture presented in a conference and one picture presented in my office. And she said that she was surprised that I was a woman in science. And she said that she was surprised that I was young and that I was beautiful for her. And she said that, oh my God, I can't believe that I can have nice clothes and be a scientist. I didn't have idea. And then besides our conversation about journals and magazines, she also used to make questions about, for example, are you married? Do you have kids? She was very curious about my personal life. And also she was like, I want to be a doctor, but I like dancing. It seemed that I have to choose between like dancing and between being a scientist. And I told her there is no problem to be a scientist and like dancing and singing, because I told her that I enjoy to read Vogue magazine as I enjoy to read Science magazine, and she loved it. And at the end of our last letter, she told me, I translate this to English, like, you encourage me to study to be a great pedestrian, I don't know how to pronounce this, I'm sorry. One day I would like to meet you, exchange ideas with you, and you already are my favorite #1 scientist. I am much quiet when she told me that, because I'm the first scientist of my family, and I grown up without any reference about being a scientist, just like Albert Einstein, like old man and white. And I know, I think I can understand what it means for her and what it means for me as a first scientist of my family too. And what I want to say about scholar communication, that we have many barriers to promote access and understand to science. And I believe one barrier is the idea that we have how a scientist should look like. And that's all. Thank you.
We're just about at time, so I'm just going to thank you guys for coming, and we're happy to stick around for a little bit if you have questions or you want to chat or you want to find out about the making of the musical, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Thank you.